Let's talk about the current situation of the Red Bull team. As we said in my earlier videos, since the early Red Bull days with Adrian Newey on board, Red Bull has been competitive and was fighting at the front of the field. They have only been slowed down by the bad performance of their engine supplier Renault with the upcoming hybrid era. But after changing to Honda, they could fight at the front again and win world championships. But since the passing of Red Bull boss Dietrich Mateschitz at the end of 2022, an internal power struggle has caused lots of external and internal trouble, which also resulted in many capable people leaving Red Bull. Biggest names here are Rob Marshall, Red Bull's chief designer who joined McLaren in early 2024, Adrian Newey, Red Bull's technical mastermind who joined Aston Martin in March 2025, and Jonathan Wheatley, who started his career as an F1 mechanic and worked his way up to be sporting director, overseeing pit stop performance and managing communication between the team and regulators. He now started his new role as team boss of the upcoming Audi works team. And there are many more less known but capable engineers who left the team. We were predicting it last year already, but it's hard to see a top team slide into the midfield. The Bahrain Grand Prix 2025 showed the current status of the Red Bull team, and it's not good. On the technical side, they are not competitive for the first time while having a good engine. It seems like they lost their experience of designing a competitive race car, which is no surprise after these key figures left the team. In Bahrain, they were struggling with the disconnected front and rear of the car again. Drivers report turn in oversteer which shifts to understeer within the corner and no feel in the brakes. The sliding cost them lap time and driver confidence. But not just that, it overheats the tires and increases wear. And that slows them down even more. So in other words, they don't have the pace to drive at the front. They had the most dominant season in F1 history in 2023 and started 2024 strong. Adrian Newey already stated that he saw the team developing in the wrong direction, but he was excluded from technical meetings at that time already. Red Bull also had a tradition of developing the car until the very last minute and starting the year a bit unprepared, but their extraordinary performance at the track and their development speed, which was often higher than the competitors, meant they usually had the best car, at least in the second half of the season. In 2024, they lost their way and got confused by their own car. They ran into problems they couldn't fix until now. In 2025, for the first time, their new car looked like the old one, and the new season started like the old one ended. Red Bull is not able to fight at the front anymore and can only cover their current state by the outstanding performance of Max Verstappen. Only if there is a chaos race or lots of rain or low temperatures, so tire wear doesn't play such a big role, or if the track has been resurfaced like Japan and there's less sliding for all cars, only then Red Bull can be at the front and Verstappen is getting 100% or even more out of the car. In addition to that, Red Bull had messy pit stops in Bahrain like we haven't seen in a long time. Supposedly a wiring loom issue caused the red light to stay on, which cost them lots of time, and drivers were stuck in traffic on track. Verstappen summarized that nothing worked on this weekend, and it seems like Red Bull is pretty lost with their problems. Of course, Verstappen knows his value and he wants to sit in a competitive car. The huge rule change next year means that with his current contract he would sit in a Red Bull, which will use their own drivetrain for the first time. And in the current situation, that doesn't look like a good option. So what other options does he have? McLaren has two very competitive drivers who get the maximum out of the car. The same is true for Mercedes, where Antonelli is settling in well, and Russell is driving better than ever before. We know how loyal Toto Wolff is to his current and former drivers, and he wouldn't fire a driver who's performing well. At the same time, there is a risk that someone like Verstappen would change the structure within the team significantly, similar to an Adrian Newey on the technical side. Teams could fall into the same trap of designing the car for Verstappen and making it undrivable for the other driver, resulting in a team which can only score points with one car, so you would be unable to win the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari is currently struggling with their own performance and have two outstanding drivers. But there is the option with Aston Martin which seems very attractive. First of all, Verstappen's well-known engine partner Honda will provide drivetrains to Aston Martin with a works team status, so just what Verstappen is used to. Adrian Newey just started there, they have a new factory, have lots of capable people, and everything concentrates on a competitive car with the rule changes 2026. So this could be a similar story like Red Bull in 2009, and Verstappen could be part of it. At the same time, they were offering him $1 billion if he comes and joins the team. And what would happen to Red Bull if that would be the case? Helmut Marko already said that it's hard to keep Verstappen with their current performance, and that he could imagine to retire if Max leaves Red Bull. So more key figures of Red Bull's success would leave. And if Verstappen isn't there anymore, who will score their big points? Hacha is performing well and could be promoted to Red Bull, but if their drivetrain for 2026 isn't performing, they could end up in the midfield and lose even more people. So what do you think? Will Verstappen stay at Red Bull for 2026? And if not, where will he go? And whose place will he take? Let me know in the comments below and check out my online courses if you want to work in F1 as well. See you at the next one.